Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Q&A, so let's go ahead and get this started. Alright, first question from my bro Justin. Coach, can I push a sled/prowler for my GPP work 3 times a week? I barely could finish 10 sprints back and forth on a tennis court with 90 pounds added. I've made a heavy 5x5 session seem easy. Could I combine this with some bodyweight chin-ups and dips each of those 3 sessions? Also, I know you don't like liss cardio anymore, but I work in an office and need all the activity I can get. Could I still walk on a treadmill in my garage 3 to 4 times a week? 30 minutes a session, 3 to 4 miles per hour without affecting performance. Thanks. Honestly, man, 30 minutes of liss, other than if it's just walking around the block, probably isn't ideal for anyone trying to get more jacked and stronger. At least regular walking is fine. There's a difference between regular walking and doing large amounts of true liss, though. As far as the other question, if you can handle it, then yes, you have to build your work capacity up. All right, you have to build your work capacity. I would start with something like the sled and prowler work twice a week. You could build up from there. And then obviously you could add the body weight chin-ups and dips. Those are fine. But again, we have to think in terms of Metcon like that. Here's what I would say. Those aren't taken to failure either. If you're doing them as conditioning work, if you can do 10 reps of those, don't go over 5, right? Don't go over 5. And so what I would say, you could do them as intervals. You could do one of your sled or prowler pushes, right? Or drag your sled. Then do, 5 chins, 5 dips. Rest, repeat. So you could do that for several rounds. Right, you could do that for several rounds, and that would be phenomenal GPP and conditioning work. And it would have a nice hypertrophic benefit. But I'd come back to the other point. Guys who have the office jobs and they're busy, I don't think that liss is really a good use of your time. Right? If you're really busy, really efficient GPP sessions are the way to go, honestly. Right? Get in and do real conditioning work like that. And the reason I say that, it has to do with time commitment versus benefits. And I'm not telling people not to walk, but I think actively getting on a machine to do liss cardio when you know that you want to get into really good shape is not the way to go. And I'm stating this as someone who has done phases and experimented myself, including DEXA scans, while doing very large amounts of liss, and I can honestly say it makes very, very, very little difference as far as benefits. And I'm talking an hour or more every day. It has almost zero fitness benefits in my experience. 15 minutes of Metcon or conditioning work done once a week in my experience has more fitness and performance benefits than doing an hour of liss 7 days a week. So it's a matter of looking at your time management and efficient use of your time, right? Make efficient use of your time. That's all I'm saying. All right, next question. Hey, Jason, do you think a phase of slow cutting could be a good time to work on neuromuscular efficiency with dropping the small exercises, drop the volume, but up the frequency and increase the intensity? Plus a lot of walking every day, which will help with fat loss and won't rise cortisol. I think this can be good because I feel like I'm progressing and getting stronger while being on a small deficit. No, I think that's a good way to lose muscle. I think that's a real good way to lose muscle. If you don't already do heavy singles, adding them at the start of your cut is not the place to add them, because they're going to take away from some of your training volume. You need to be at your basically maximum recoverable volumes a lot of times on a cut. You need to figure out what you can get away with. Cutting strips muscle off. Okay, that is your body's predisposition, is to strip muscle when you go into a deficit. And it's not uncommon if you mess it up for 50% of the weight you lose to be lean tissue. The last thing you want to do is cut your training volume by replacing it with other stuff that causes less hypertrophy. Right? You might need to reduce volume to recover. But adding a liss cardio to help create a deficit is, in my experience, the most stupid thing you can possibly do when losing body fat, unless you're adding anabolics to hold on to your muscle. Now, if you're a bodybuilder on 2 grams of gear, by all means, elicit up. Okay? But if you're not, no, don't create a deficit with liss cardio. You need to keep your training volume as high as you can recover from. You might have to think like a more advanced lifter than you are. You might have to think in terms of stimulus versus fatigue more. Let's come over to the other point, neuromuscular efficiency. I believe that non-novices should be hitting maxes every week. That's how I train. That's how I train all my clients who are past a certain threshold. We hit maxes every week. Bulking, cutting, recomping, I don't care. Okay? So if you're already hitting maxes, this is no longer a thing to worry about. We adjust training volume based upon the other goals. Okay? We keep people with what they can recover from. If you're bulking, you can recover from more volume. If you're cutting, we might have to reduce it slightly. When you're cutting, you might have to reduce progression. Let's come over to the other point. You're saying, well, I want to feel like I'm progressing. Well, then don't cut. Make up your mind. Do you want to lose body fat or do you want to make progress? And I'm not telling you not to cut or lose body fat. It might be in your best interest to do so. You can't do both. Pick one. Pick one and commit to it. Either you are going to do a cut and drop 10 or 12 pounds of body weight, or you are going to get stronger. Since you haven't mentioned use of trenbolone, okay, you need to pick one and stop half-assing it. All right, quit pussyfooting around and stop half-assing your goals. Either you're going to want to lose body fat and hold on to the muscle and strength that you have, or you want to get stronger in this phase. Stop half-assing your goals and not getting anywhere. You're going to spin your wheels. Now, if you were going to do a recomp or something and focus on slow progress, that would be fine. But you're in a deficit. You're not going to get stronger. All right, you need to just forget that shit. Lose your fat. Keep what you have. Don't do stupid liss cardio. Keep your volume as high as you can recover from. You need training volume to hold on to muscle tissue. When you get to the body weight you're happy at, go back to a clean bulk or a recomp. Then you'll make progress again. But stop half-assing it. What you just described to me is going to make you lose muscle tissue. All right, next question and last question of the week. Shalom Jason, thoughts on wearing a lifting belt during weighted dips and weighted pull-ups? Not weight belt, lifting belt as in deads and squats. And one more question, assuming safe range of motion, what do you think of pause dips, as in pause bench? A lifting belt during dips and pull-ups. No, man, the chain and everything's going to pull against that. Okay, and normally I would tell guys, look, there can be benefits to wearing your belt on any exercise where you're bracing the core. Okay, those are exercises that kind of brace your core for stability hanging anyways. I don't think you're going to get a benefit. They already engage the core quite well, and I don't think the belt's going to help you brace better in that case. A bench press it can. Bench press it can. Lifts like that, sure. But this has got you hanging in traction already. And you're hanging in traction then with a weight around your waist. You'll be fine. Don't waste your time. It's just going to be an extra hassle for you to strap down a belt and then hang your weights and everything around it. I don't think you're going to get a benefit. I understand why. I get the concept. In this case, I don't think it's worth it. Even though I would recommend it on a lot of lifts. Pause dips. No, I wouldn't recommend it at all. Why? Why would you do that? What does the weighted dip bring to the table that the bench press doesn't? It's one of the big things. The ability to produce a profound stretch reflex. Okay. You're taking that stretch reflex out. Just do a bench press. Sounds like, honestly, you don't need to be doing dips, brother. It sounds like everything you're trying to do You want to wear a belt for a press, okay? Sounds like you want to pause at the bottom and remove a stretch reflex. I'd say a bench press or a floor press might be the better exercise for you. I can tell you right now, pause, dip, not only are you moving the stretch reflex, I don't think your shoulders are going to enjoy that. All right, you're going to put a lot of extra strain on your shoulders and rotator cuffs. Maybe you should consider a floor press. It might be a better exercise for you personally. All right? I think you get a lot more out of it with the mindset of what you're trying to do with the dip. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.